Hi there, my name is Rajiv, and I'm the old guy who's just starting to get into smart home technology, and we're building a new construction home, and so trying to see what I can do in that home relatively inexpensively. A lot of people around here are trying to sell me some professional smart home systems like Control4 or Lutron Homeworks or Crestron and things like that, and I've done some research into those, and they're just not for me. Those systems are just too closed. They don't allow consumers to have any customizability or extensibility into those systems. You can't sort of mess with them yourselves. They only give access to the dealers who sell those systems, and so I just can't have a home where if I want to install a new device, I have to go talk to my dealer in order to get him to do that programming for me. So I'm not into those professional systems. I'm more of a do-it-yourselfer, and so I have basically settled on SmartThings as our platform for smart home automation. And one of the first things that I bought is the Ring Video Doorbell, the Pro version. So here it is. I got this on Amazon, and I set this up. I wired it all up. This is obviously not a new construction home. This is just where we're living at the moment. So we just wired it up temporarily just to get everything hooked up and make sure it works and make sure we understand how to get it wired. And this is obviously just a temporary setup that we're just using to test it all out. So first I just wanted to talk about the scenario that I want. In our new home, our door doesn't have any windows and there's no transoms on the side, so there's literally no way to see who's at the door when somebody rings the doorbell, unless we do some kind of a video doorbell setup. So that was the motivation for getting the Ring. Skybell also offers a video doorbell, of course, which is very popular. So my scenario is that I want to have a screen next to the door or very close to the door so that we can see who's at the door when the doorbell rings. And so I got this Samsung Galaxy Tab. This is their cheapest tablet that they offer. This was $120 on Amazon. It's a 7-inch screen. I could go bigger if I wanted to, but you know, again, I'm just testing this stuff out for now, so I'm trying to spend as little as I can just to make sure that all these technologies work the way I want them to. So there's my tablet. And the way I'm going to mount this to the wall is I bought this mount. This is from a company called Vidamount, VIDAMOUNT.com. And unfortunately, they're not cheap. This mount was $99, so it's almost as expensive as the tablet itself. But that was the cheapest one I could find, and it works pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it. So the way this works is you just, let me turn this off here. The way this works is you put one end of the tablet here and just kind of carefully snap it in like that. And then the USB cable, obviously if you're going to mount this to the wall, you're going to want it to be permanently plugged in so that you don't have to keep taking it out to charge the batteries every day. So it's got a little slot here for the USB cable to get plugged into, and then that gets threaded through the back. I have to pop it out just once here to get it threaded through. That USB cable gets threaded through the back of this thing. I can pop it back in. And And then this is just going to get, it's going to go through the wall to the other side of the wall where I've got a closet, and there's an electrical outlet in that closet, and this will just plug into the wall outlet. And all the wires will be hidden because it's going through the wall and into the closet. If you go into the closet, you'll see the wires, but you're not going to see any wires from the outside of the closet. So that's my mount, and then this cover just snaps on to make it look a little prettier. And there you go, and that's going to get mounted to the wall. So for today, we're just gonna pretend like we've mounted it here. And I don't need it plugged in right now. I've got plenty of battery on there. So, so my idea is that with the doorbell, I want it to pop up on the screen as soon as somebody rings the doorbell. So let's move over to the doorbell part real quick. So again, this is new construction, so there's not an existing doorbell in the home. No wiring for a doorbell, no chimes, nothing. So we're going to be doing this from scratch. And so, well, before I go into the wiring, let's just show what came in the packaging. So there's the Ring Video Doorbell Pro box, and then this is an accessory that I bought separately. This is the Ring chime. So if you have a larger home and you want to be able to hear that doorbell in various parts of the house, you can buy these chimes which just plug right into the wall. And you can have a bunch of different ones. I bought 4 of them. That may be a little bit overkill, but I bought 4 of these so that we could scatter them throughout the house and make sure that we hear the doorbell no matter which part of the house we're in. And our house isn't that big, so 4 may be overkill. I could have probably gotten away with 2. But anyway, we'll get into that later. The Video Doorbell Pro comes with a bunch of faceplates, which is nice. And they threw in some tools as well to help with the installation, so that you know, you don't have to go digging around for your own tools. Just a Phillips screwdriver, a drill bit, a mounting plate, and screws and wall anchors, nice touch, and some wiring components. A lot of these I ended up not using because I don't have an existing chime or an existing doorbell in my house. This would only be used if you were wiring it to an actual mechanical chime, or a digital chime that you already had in your house. But we're not doing that. We're just using, in my house, in my setup, we're just using their plug-in chimes, which work through Wi-Fi. So this doesn't require any wiring, except it just needs power, so it just needs to be plugged in. So what I've got here, again, just for testing purposes, I've got an extension cord plugged into the wall outlet, and that extension cord comes out to here, to my countertop, and then plugged into that extension cord, I've got this transformer, and this is something I just bought at Home Depot. This transformer is basically converts your wall outlet voltage, which is 120 volts AC, into 10 to 16 volts AC. So that's the purpose of the transformer, and if you just want to look at the packaging for the transformer, again, bought this at Home Depot. It was like 20 bucks or something like that. And so it's just a wired transformer used with wired doorbells. Input 120 volts AC, output 10 to 16 volts AC. Now the Ring doorbell requires 16 to 24 volts AC, so this transformer is outputting just barely enough voltage for that Ring. But the transformer can output 16, and the Ring requires at least 16, so we're good, and this transformer ended up working just fine for us. Again, just for testing purposes, I bought this little plug, and the transformer didn't actually come with that plug. It just came with these 3 wires loose coming out of the transformer. So when we install this for real, we'll just mount this transformer to the wall in like a closet or a basement or something, and just hardwire these 3 wires to the power for that circuit. But for testing purposes, I bought a little plug at Home Depot. That was like $3. and we wired the transformer to the prongs inside the plug, and that way I can just plug it in. It makes it a little bit easier just to test things out. So that's the transformer, and then so the transformer's got two terminals coming out of it, and that's those two terminals are where you're going to get your 16 volts AC from. Now those don't get wired directly to the Ring doorbell. What they say is that because you're not wiring it through an existing door chime, you need to put a resistor in the circuit, and the purpose of the resistor is basically to just act as a load, which you need because we don't have that mechanical door chime that's on the wall. So there's no load, so this resistor serves as that load, so that we don't overpower the doorbell. So I've got one terminal of the transformer wired to one terminal of the resistor. Oh, and by the way, this resistor, I just got it from DigiKey. It's a 25 ohm, 30 watt resistor. It's the one that Ring recommends. If you go to Ring's website and just search for how to wire without an existing chime, you'll see that they have two recommendations for different resistors you can use. And this one is one of the ones they recommend, and I just got this online off of DigiKey. Digikey.com, digikey.com. So that's what this is. So anyway, so one terminal of the transformer to one terminal of the resistor, and then the other terminal of the resistor goes to one terminal of the doorbell. And we should have done a better job on this wiring. We should have at least put a connector there, or like a wire nut, or at least electrical tape. But it's low voltage at this point. As long as the high voltage wires aren't exposed, we're pretty safe. I can touch this without getting electrocuted. It's only 16 volts, so not too big of a deal. But you know, when we do it for real, obviously we'll wire it a little bit more professionally. So that's that, and then the other terminal of the doorbell, and those are just, if you just look at the back of the doorbell, they've just got screws for the two terminals, and they provided these leads which connect, make it easy to connect to those screws. So it's just got those two terminals, and then so then the other terminal of the doorbell just gets wired right back to the second terminal of the transformer. So that's the circuit right there. One end of the transformer to the resistor, resistor to the doorbell, doorbell back to the transformer. Now I used speaker wire just because that's what I had lying around the house, and I didn't feel like making a special trip to go get more wire. But this wire is really overkill for this doorbell. You can definitely get away with just some regular low voltage wiring. And so now the doorbell is powered, and it's basically working. Now we had to, of course, do some setup. We had to install the Ring app on that tablet, and then the Ring app communicates with the doorbell in order to get the doorbell's Wi-Fi set up correctly, and to get this doorbell access to your home's Wi-Fi network and the appropriate password to connect to that Wi-Fi network and everything. You do that all through the Ring app. You can do it on a phone or a tablet or any device that is on your Wi-Fi network. Alright, so now that we've got the doorbell wired up and it's got power, let me just show you a little bit of how to set it up through the app. So you have to have a mobile device, of course. Again, this could be your phone or your tablet. Your device has got to be on your Wi-Fi network for your home. Once you've got it set up, of course, you can leave your home, and if you've got mobile access from outside your home through your phone, you can get the alerts from your doorbell and see the video and all that. But for setup purposes, you do need to be on your home's Wi-Fi network, of course. You install that Ring app. It's free. And then I'm not going to walk through the process, but basically once you've got the app installed, you're going to click on, let's see here, Setup Device. A lot of the instructions say Add Device, but you want to actually click up the Setup. You want to click the tap the Setup Device button there. It'll ask you what kind of device you want to set up. You choose Ring Video Doorbell Pro, and then it's going to try and start communicating with it and ask you to specify which Wi-Fi network you want that doorbell to connect to. Obviously pick the one for your home, or whichever one is the strongest. If you've got multiple Wi-Fi networks in your home, pick the one that's closest to that doorbell location. And then, if you want to turn around here, we also then set up the chime. So, right over here, we plugged the chime into the wall, and that's just another device as well. Totally wireless. It just communicates through Wi-Fi. Again, you're just going to tap Setup Device, and then one of the choices will be to set up the chime. And again, it just connected to the Wi-Fi network, and then everything just works. And so mostly, I mean, this process was very smooth, very easy. We didn't really have any issues getting it set up or configured. It all just kind of worked, which was nice. So now that we've got doorbell set up, the app set up, everything's, the doorbell and the chime are both on my home's Wi-Fi network. Let's just test it out and see what happens here. So if somebody comes to the door, presses the button, you actually heard 3 different chimes. One chime came from the plug-in chime, which might have been, in a completely different part of the house. One chime came from the doorbell itself, so that the person who rang the doorbell would hear an audible chime, so that he knows that that something actually happened. And then the other chime came from the tablet. Once the doorbell has been rung, you can go into the Ring app and see video of the area in front of the doorbell, or the area in front of the door. So you can see my cameraman there right now. And you can talk to those whoever's out there as well through this device. You just press the green button and you can talk to them. There's a lot of feedback right now, so it's echoing back and forth because I'm so close to the doorbell, and there's this feedback loop of me talking into the tablet sending that audio to the doorbell emitting it through its speaker, and then the tablet is picking that up again. So I've got feedback, but that wouldn't normally happen if the tablet was on the inside of the house and the doorbell was on the outside. The speaker on the doorbell itself is kind of crummy. It's just not very clear. I mean, it's a very tiny speaker, so I guess I wouldn't expect that much from it, but the audio quality coming out of that doorbell is definitely, I'd say, an area for improvement. And so that all works fine. The one issue I had with this setup, and you may have noticed, let me show you again. So normally I would want to have this tablet mounted to the wall in either a permanent horizontal position or permanent vertical position. But what you notice is that the Ring app itself, it wants a vertical orientation. Like, even though I'm holding it horizontally right now, the Ring app is not designed to work in a horizontal orientation. So you can only use the Ring app in a vertical orientation, which is kind of annoying, because I wouldn't have a problem with that, except for the fact that when you ring the doorbell and the video shows up, the video is in a horizontal orientation. So you have to turn your tablet to view the video. And then once you're done viewing the video, you have to turn it back vertically in order to use the Ring app again and to see your devices, look at your log. It shows you a log of every time the doorbell has been rung and so forth. So, I mean, I think it's kind of a poorly designed app, that some parts of the app require a vertical orientation and some parts require a horizontal orientation, meaning that you're always going to be having to do this, which is not really possible when you've got the thing mounted to the wall. It's fine if you're on a phone because it's easy to just rotate your phone back and forth, but for a wall-mounted device it just makes no sense. So I talked to Ring technical support. They didn't offer any help with this. They just said, we'll communicate it to the development team and see if they can make an improvement on that in the future. But I did find my own solution. What I did was, if you want to zoom in here, I installed this app called Set Orientation, and that I just got off the Google Play Store. It's a free download. It's by somebody called Eyes Free Project. It's a pretty highly rated app, and it doesn't have any ads or any annoying things in it. It's just a very, very clean and simple way to force another app that is not behaving as it should and force it into a certain orientation. So I've installed this already, and what I can do is I can go into the Set Orientation app and say, I want all my apps to be locked in landscape mode. And now, no matter what I do, no matter how I rotate my device, it is fixed in landscape mode. And now what happens is that Ring app that previously only worked in portrait mode, in vertical, now is being forced to work in landscape mode. And so now I can actually mount my tablet on the wall horizontally in landscape mode, and everything will work, including the SmartThings app, by the way. The SmartThings app is another poorly designed app for Android because that app also locks itself into portrait mode and it won't auto-rotate into landscape mode when you turn your device horizontal. But this app, the Set Orientation app, will force all apps to use landscape mode. Alright, so now that we got that orientation problem resolved, the next issue I ran into with my setup is the following. You know, this tablet is going to be mounted to the wall, but it's the Ring app will probably always be running on the tablet, but it's not always going to be in the foreground. You know, I had this idea that, you know, what we might want most of the time is for our family's calendar to be on the screen, sort of on a permanent, you know, more consistent basis, or like a slideshow of family photos or something. So the Ring app is normally not going to be in the foreground. And the problem I ran into is that when somebody does come to the door and ring the doorbell, you hear the chimes, and there's a little ring alert that pops up on the device saying that somebody's ringing the front door. But that alert goes away in less than 10 seconds, and I know it's going to take me more than 10 seconds to get from wherever I am to the front door. And so that's a bit of a problem, because now what I have to do is I either have to pull up all my alerts again and then find that particular Ring alert, press on it in order to bring the Ring app to the foreground and be able to see the video. Or I would have to, you know, press the home button, go to my home screen, find the Ring app, launch the Ring app, and then view the video that way. And it might not seem like a big deal, but I really feel like this system needs to be, you know, totally hands-free and pain-free, because I promise you other members of my house are not going to be pleased if somebody rings the doorbell and they're going to have to fumble around tapping in various places on the tablet just to see who's at the door. It really needs to be totally seamless and automatic, and you shouldn't have to do anything to be able to see who's on the other side of that door. So I researched this a little bit and posted a request for help on the SmartThings forum. And what I found was that one way to achieve this is to install two other apps on this device. One's called Tasker and one's called Sharp Tools. Now Tasker is just a general purpose automation app which lets you configure what are called profiles, and a profile is basically a way to say, okay, when this thing happens, cause this other thing to happen. And then Sharp Tools is the little app that enables Tasker to talk to SmartThings. And because I've added the Ring doorbell as a smart thing, now all of these things can talk to each other and get the right thing to happen. So it was kind of a pain, and I'm not pleased that I had to install so many different apps to get this seemingly very simple and straightforward scenario to work. But that's the only way I could figure out how to do it so far. So, so anyway, there's Sharp Tools, and Sharp Tools is connected to my SmartThings. I've already kind of configured this. I'm not going to walk through the configuration process, but it's fairly straightforward. If you've got the SmartThings app on here and you install the Sharp Tools app on there, it's pretty clear how you how you connect the Sharp Tools to your SmartThings. So Sharp Tools can now see my front door ringer, which had already been previously added as a smart thing. So that's all you need to do in Sharp Tools. And then you need to go into Tasker and create what's called profile. And so the profile I've got says when the state of my front door ringer changes, and that means when somebody presses the doorbell button, or if I had motion sensing turned on, then if the motion was sensed. So if any of the states on that front doorbell ringer changes and the Ring app is not already in the foreground, then launch the Ring app. And so that's my Tasker profile that I created, and I'm going to go ahead and turn that Tasker profile on. Alright, so now that I got my Tasker profile set up and turned on, let's make sure that my scenario works the way I want to. So I've got my tablet here, and I've got the calendar app, the Google Calendar app, running in the foreground. And let's say it's timed out, so the screen has turned off, and everything's happy. Screen's off, calendar's in the foreground. Somebody comes and they ring the doorbell. The alert comes up, and without me doing anything, the Ring app launches automatically, and that's Tasker doing that. And I didn't have to press anything or tap anything or hunt and peck around the screen to see who's on the other side of the door. It just popped up. So that's cool. That's what I wanted. That's the scenario I wanted to work, and so I'm happy that that's working. I did have to pay $2.99 for the Tasker app, and I think I had to pay another $3 and something for the Sharp Tools app to be able to integrate with Tasker. But that's $6 or $7, so not a big deal. And it would be nice if the Ring app itself had some of this functionality built in, so that I didn't have to install these other third-party apps to get the scenario to work. But hey, this stuff is all still fairly new, and I'm sure it's going to improve over time. So that's my demonstration of the Ring doorbell and some of the solutions I found to some of the problems I was having. Of course, you can obviously install the Ring app on your smartphones as well. So if you're sitting around the house, and you have that app installed and connected to the doorbell, whenever the doorbell rings, you'll get an alert on your phone as well. So you wouldn't necessarily have to run all the way up to the front door to see who's there. But I think there are situations when we don't necessarily have our smartphones with us at all times, and we don't want to hunt around for them when we hear that doorbell ring. And so having this mounted near the front door and just automatically showing who's there, I think that's an important. I think it's an important scenario, and we don't want to make things. We don't want our smart things to make our lives more difficult. We want them to make them easier, to make our lives easier. And so it's important that things work right and work automatically and work reliably. Otherwise, they're just a cause for frustration rather than convenience. So anyway, that's my video. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope it helps you guys out. Take care.